The R&B singer, 55, is likely to spend much of the rest of his life in prison after being convicted of years of psychological and sexual abuse. 31 years ago, R. Kelly, a budding R&B artist from Chicago in his mid-20s, was signed to his first major record label. Around the same time, he began having sex with a 15-year-old girl, according to her subsequent lawsuit. The accusations mounted over the decades. They grew increasingly heinous. They spilled into public view. Still, the singer who became a superstar leaned on his fame to mask the predator under the persona, and to shield himself from consequences. On Wednesday, Mr. Kelly, 55, could no longer escape the fallout. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison for racketeering and sex trafficking. As the judge read out his term, he did not react, and outside, his victims expressed deep relief at the decision. The sentencing that followed a September conviction culminated Mr. Kelly's staggering downfall, from a chart-topping hitmaker known as the king of R&B to a pariah whose musical legacy has become inextricable from his abuses. His trial exposed harrowing and systematic torment directed by the musician and enabled by those in his orbit. U.S. District Judge Jane Donnelly, who presided over the federal trial in Brooklyn, said in court that few crimes more serious than Mr. Kelly's exist, and that he had manipulated girls and women. "You taught them that love is enslavement and violence," the judge said, recalling the scenarios he created to wreak primal humiliation on them. "This case is not about sex. It's about violence and cruelty and control," Judge Donnelly said. "You had a system in place that lured young people into your orbit, and then you took over their lives." Mr. Kelly's lawyer, Jennifer Bonjean, said outside the courthouse that she would appeal the sentence. She had sought 10 years. "Mr. Kelly was prepared for prison," she said, "but has regrets and is sad." Kelly was among the most successful American musicians of the 1990s and 2000s, as chart-topping hits like I Believe I Can Fly and Ignition Remix catapulted him to some of the world's largest stages. But as the entertainer, whose full name is Robert Sylvester Kelly, crafted an image as a sex symbol, he exploited access to young fans and aspiring musicians to fulfill his desires, the government said. For an hour in court on Wednesday, 7 women and one of their fathers delivered wrenching accounts, describing the devastation of their sense of self-worth, and how the trauma continues to touch every facet of their lives.